welcome back. I have Zoe and me, and we are going to make some fabulous cranberry sauce tonight. And the reason I'm doing this video, we're doing this video, is because we are headed into some of the most busiest time of the year with Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. And this is also turns into flu season, which I believe is due to the amount of sugar that is consumed between Halloween, which was just last month, and then Thanksgiving with all the yummy cookies and cakes and pies that you get, and all the carbs. You've got you have the mashed potatoes and the stuffing and the pumpkin pie and all that good carbohydrate filled food, which just turns into sugar, which lowers our immune system. Of course, I'm not a doctor, so I don't have any proof for this. Then you roll into Christmas, and of course we've got Christmas cookies and more pies and more cakes and more treats and more eating and eating and eating. If you're like my family, sometimes there's several Christmas parties that you end up going to, and you end up eating and eating and eating. So one tip to avoid hindering your progress is to bring dishes that you can eat, or if you're hosting and you want to have some of those traditional dishes like stuffing and mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce, then make them yourself in a low carbohydrate way so that you can partake in some of them and you don't feel like you're poisoning your guests. It's my hope over the next couple of days, because Thanksgiving is going to be here really soon, to go through and show you how to make my carnivore stuffing, this cranberry sauce, which is not completely my recipe. I have to give a shout out to a friend of mine, Carrie Brown, that I got the idea from, but I did tweak it because I don't buy oranges and it's a pain for me to have to go to the store, and I don't use xylitol, so I mean, cranberries is pretty much liquid cranberries and a sweetener. And then working on a protein mashed potatoes recipe so that you can have your goodness and eat it too. While my family is mostly carnivore, we're carnivore-ish, we strive for progress, not perfection. And during the holidays, we certainly don't always have perfection. So if we can at least stay on the keto or ketovore path, we might have a keto pumpkin pie. But it's going to be all low carbohydrate, and at least it's not going to throw us into undoing a lot of our progress. So for today, we are going to work on cranberries.
Can I get to this stuff?
Yes, you can. So I suggest, because cranberries stain, either wear clothing that you don't care about or wear an apron. I am doing neither of those things, but I use really deep pan, so I've never really had any issues. I honestly don't care about this shirt, and it's black, so if I get a cranberry pop on it, not worry about it.
Take off this sweatshirt.
All right. So basically what you need is 1 cup hot water, and I put 1 to 2 teaspoons of orange extract. Now this is not sweet. The original recipe calls for zesting an orange and taking half the juice from an orange. That's way too much trouble for me. I don't have the time to do it. I hate zesting fruit. and I don't want to have to go to the store. So this is what I do. It turns out perfect. For the zest, I have orange peel, which is the same thing. Someone just did the work for me. So we're going to take about 2 teaspoons of this, of the zest.
Okay.
Yes, would you please put 2 teaspoons in the pan? And I'm just going to zoom you down here to the pan. I hope, maybe, if I can get my, oops, sorry. Camera person malfunction. All right. There we go. So about, and you can adjust this. It's not like it's, you know, critical. All right. Can you please? Then we have 12 ounces of whole cranberries. I like to buy these from Aldi when they're on sale, and I'll buy like a bunch, and then I pop them in the freezer, and that way we can have cranberry sauce anytime. So toss that in there.
All of it?
All of it.
That's a lot of cranberries.
It is. All right. And then we've got between 10 to 11 ounces of allulose. The original recipe called for xylitol. I do not like xylitol. It really messes with our stomachs, gives us the runs, and so we use allulose. You cannot use erythritol, because to use erythritol or anything with erythritol in it, the cranberries will get real crystallized and kind of turn to like a rock. You can use some erythritol, but it has to be like a certain measurement. So for me, the allulose is perfect. I weigh this on a scale, and you're going to do it to taste. This is approximately 10-ish ounces. So go ahead and dump that in there. And then this is our water. Cranberries are really tart, and they're very low in carbs. So this is a very low carb thing, so you kind of need the sweetness to balance out. And allulose is not super sweet to begin with. All right.
Now what do you do?
Now we're going to turn this on, and we are just going to stir. And you don't have to stir all the time. We're going to bring it to a boil and let it simmer for about 15 minutes. And that is essentially it. So we'll just stir. And you can leave it, let it get to a boil. So we're going to let it get to a boil, and then I'm going to turn it down to a simmer. I'm going to speed through all this so we don't have to worry about it. Because I'll speed through it when I edit the video.
Oh.
So you won't hear this. Get some. Okay, so while this is going to come to a boil, I'm just going to go ahead and pause the video, and then we'll be back once it's boiling, and so that you can see how the cranberries are, and then it'll simmer for about 15 minutes until they're all nice and soft. So we'll be back. All right, so we are back, and it came to a boil, so I turned it down. It's been simmering about 7 minutes or so. You want to stir it regularly. It doesn't have to be stirred constantly, but as you stir it, the cranberries will pop and kind of break, and then it will start to kind of gel up on its own. Depending on the brand of allulose that you use, or if you are using xylitol, your measure of sweetness is going to be different. I recently switched I recently switched brands of, so I recently changed brands of allulose, and I'm really not too thrilled with the new brand. It doesn't seem as potent as the one that I had been getting, so I feel like I have to use a little bit more. After it boiled and while it was simmering, I did taste it a little bit, and I ended up having to add about 4 more ounces of allulose. And with my old allulose, usually I get it from Lang's Chocolate, but they had really raised their price, and so I had found what I thought was an equivalent brand. It had decent reviews, but I feel like I have to use more for that. So, I mean, I'm going to finish it up, obviously, because I bought it, but I did have to add about 4 more ounces, so then I was at approximately like 14 ounces of sweetener, which again, it's allulose. You don't actually, it doesn't actually absorb in the bloodstream, so it's not supposed to like raise insulin or anything like that. It just kind of goes out the other end, but it gives you that sweetness. So it doesn't seem to affect my husband's blood sugar any more than like just a normal eating. Like, it doesn't skyrocket it anymore like a sugary treat would. So it just raises it the equivalent of like what a non or low carb food would do. So yeah, so just it's all going to depend on, you know, where you buy your allulose. I get mine in bulk, but if you're just getting it like Wholesome, I think it's either Wholesome or Wholesome Yum, you can usually pick that up in stores, or Walmart carries their own brand of allulose. You know, there's various ones, so they're going to range in sweetness. And xylitol is much more sweeter, so you're going to actually use less sweetener. But again, if you have dogs or animals, you don't want to have xylitol in your house because it can be deadly to them, and it can cause upset stomach. So if you're feeding this to guests and you don't know how their stomach will react, I would not suggest using the xylitol, but that's completely your choice. So as this starts to gel up, I've got about 8 minutes left in the simmering process, and again, you just have to stir it occasionally. The cranberries are going to pop, so that could be the messy part. I feel like, you know, just gently stirring it helps keep that popping down, because you're kind of breaking the berries while they're in the sauce. I may need to add just a little more water to this, simply because I had to increase the sweetener, so it's gonna gel up just a little bit too much for my liking. So I am gonna do that. Probably just add another ounce or 2, just a little bit, just to kind of thin it out, because I'm not even at the 15 minutes, and it's pretty thick. It's for cranberry sauce, you want it kind of thick in it to begin with, but you don't want it like so thick that it's kind of stick to your ribs thick. So this is what we have right now, and there still is a little bit of time left for doing this. Now, Zoe, just be very careful, because if these pop, I don't want you to get burnt, okay?
Okay.
All right. So I'm just going to grab that water.
Do you get to taste it?
Nope, I tasted it already.
But don't I get to taste it?
You can, but just wait. There. Because this will let it simmer off, but it'll help the cranberries so they get a little bit softer. A lot of that liquid got sucked up by the extra allulose that I had to put in. Here. Use that. Go on it. What do you think?
The taste Like it has real sugar in it.
Yep, but it does not. Alright.
It's good.
So basically, you're going to let this go. Now, if you don't want, these cranberries are going to continue to pop and get softer. One thing that you can do is you can take, once you put it in like your, because you're going to put it in a covered dish and you want to put it in the fridge to just really let it set. You can take a potato masher and just kind of mash these cranberries down a little bit. You can always cut them up in half before you do this, but that's just too much work when they're just going to pop anyway, in my opinion. And I'd rather just take a potato masher and smash it down. So that's really all there is to this. I am going to let these simmer for just a little bit longer. Get those berries just a little bit softer, and then I'll put it in a covered dish and put it in the fridge. Now I will be using this, some of this anyway, to make a I want to try a cream cheese roll, holiday cream cheese roll with cranberry sauce and some dried cranberries. That's what I've got going in the back here. I don't know if you can see it, but those are cranberries that are getting dried out so that I can actually put them right into the cake roll and see how that turns out. So I'm hoping to have a very nice roll. So I'll have to make some more cranberry sauce probably on Wednesday. But I wanted to get this done so that hopefully you can have some yummy cranberries for your Thanksgiving dinner, and if not, at least for Christmas. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, please be sure to share this with someone else. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you get notified anytime I upload a new video. Thanks, and we'll talk again soon.